The more you know. Brought to you by Flagstaff, Rockwood, building better RVs, making smarter RVers.
But I want to begin with some important info for anyone who's in the process of buying an RV. I often mention the word homework on this show, and the importance of doing your homework before you buy an RV. Unlike when you were back in school and you may have been able to skate by, without doing your homework. If you don't do your RV homework, you will likely pay a hefty price. The good news is that RV homework is fun. It should be fun, but it does take time. Recently, I sat down with an RV industry professional who works for the Rockwood Flagstaff division of Forest River. He's a smart guy, and the subject of RV homework came up. I want you to listen to what my friend Steve Beyeler and I discussed in hopes that it will inspire you to do your own homework, and you'll not put it off.
The more you know. Brought to you by Flagstaff, Rockwood, building better RVs, making smarter RVers.
I want you to give me, if I am a newbie, I'm somebody that's going out, even if I've owned RVs before, give me a homework assignment, Steve Beyeler. What do I need to do and what do I not need to do to make the best decision, avoid making bad decisions? Give me a homework assignment.
I love it, Alan. When I'm at a show talking about our product and I see somebody with a notepad, it makes me happy because that's the kind of customer that we want at Rockwood Flagstaff because they've done some of that research ahead of time, right? Mm-hmm. And there's so many different ways to do research, whether it's the brand itself, the dealer, having a good experience. We talked about it earlier in this segment, maybe doing some things on your own. But imagine taking your camper to a dealer with a small problem and it not being fixed correct or they can't get, whatever. So that whole experience could sour somebody, just that whole dealer experience. So understanding who you're buying from, the product that you're getting, understanding all of those things ahead of time. But, I understand everybody has a budget too, but within, whether it's cars or snowmobiles or chainsaws, there's different price points and each one of those things have their pros and cons to it. So doing that research ahead of time is so important. The mistakes that I see people make, a lot of times they buy something too small. A lot of times they're new to camping, so they don't know what their camping experience is going to be. They don't know the right questions to ask, which is why a show like this is so helpful to be able to understand that, sometimes spending a little bit more money on your camper is going to save you money when you go to trade it in, right? So doing some of that research ahead of time, being prepared, understanding this is a big purchase, right? And it's not just something you just run onto a dealership and say, I'll take that one. I love the colors. I love the lights.
Well, people do that. They do.
Yeah, they do it all the time.
They need to do their homework, that's for sure. I'll tell you one that this came in the other day. We get a lot of phone calls, and this guy bought price. That's all he wanted. He knew exactly what he wanted, but he wanted price. So he bought sight unseen. He drove to the dealer, this was 2 years ago, drove to the dealer, bought a $90,000 fifth wheel, won't tell you what brand it was or anything, but he bought it sight unseen, and he went and picked it up at night, like 7 o'clock, it was dark. And it wasn't until after he left when he realized all these things that he didn't, it's like, it didn't look like that on the internet. I'm thinking, don't do that. You got to touch it, feel it, smell it, sit in it, stand in the shower, sit on the potty, act like you're going to live in it, at least for the weekend before you make that decision based on an ad you saw on the internet.
Right. And the information's out there. Everything's out there. People's experiences. I joke about this all the time with the guys here at the office, but we'll be at shows. We'll be talking to customers, and we're all passionate about our product, and we're talking about all of these things we do, and not just bells and whistle, or I think I said earlier, lights and lipstick, but structural things, better axles and tire pressure monitor systems and better windows and better floors and better roofs and all these things that we feel like we do as a manufacturer. And we'll be telling somebody this, and And someone will be like, "Oh, look at the lights under those theater seats. Those are cool." And I'll be like, "What?
Yes.
The lights under the theater seats? Really? That's like got your interest after all these things like that." So again, it's.
But you know what, Steve? What I think is the first time buyer doesn't know what they don't know, and they're going to know it after they buy it. They're going to know it. That's why everybody says buy your second RV first, because you don't know. But you don't know. And that's, you said, you like to see people walk around a show with a notepad because they're taking information in rather than making an emotional decision. But I'll tell you what, Rockwood and Flagstaff, I think that the guy and gal that buys their second RV, third RV, fourth, they understand the importance of quality, and that's why you guys are selling every one you build. I mean, that's just a fact. The unvarnished truth is that most RV buyers do not do their homework and they end up paying the price. I'm not sure why they don't do it. Maybe it's because they think they already know everything. Maybe it's because they think they'll figure it out as they go along, and guess what? They will. Maybe they just refuse to take the time that it takes to get a good understanding of not just the different types of RVs on the market, but it takes time to learn what makes a good RV a good RV. I mean, face it, almost all RVs look good at first glance. It's like you see somebody's, picture on Facebook, you go, wow, they're pretty. And then you see them in real life, you go, wow. It's a different kind of a wow. Learning about how an RV is built is an important part of becoming a happy camper. It is. You can watch a ton of educational videos on our YouTube channel. They're all presented by the people at Rockwood Flagstaff, that division of Forest River. As they say, they're building better RVs and making smarter RVers. By the way, these are not marketing videos. They are not. As I mentioned when I was talking, with Steve, they're selling RVs as fast as they can make them. They really are.